All right, guys, we're on chapter 12, wherein Jemmy is betrayed. With a gleeful chuckle, Hold Your Nose Billy dropped the ransom note and the golden crown into a dirty linen sack. When he'd knotted the sack to the saddle, he turned to Cutwater. Soon as I'm within a squint of the castle, I'll turn the beast loose. Guard our prisoners. I'll tie him up, Cutwater wheezed, giving his heavy partner a foot up into the royal saddle. From the doorway, Jimmy watched Hold Your Nose Billy vanish into the tangled maze of tree limbs and brambles. Then he glanced about at the bare furnishings, the hanging ropes of garlic bulbs, the bed straw, the chest of stolen goods. He'd need some trickery to escape. The prince fixed him with a smirk. You're clever, all right, but a common dunce all the same. Gaw. A cartload of gold and jewels. The ruffians would have been content with a mere jingle of coins. Jimmy's eyes swung back to the bedstraw. There was his escape. A cartload of moonshine, he said. It'll never be forked over. I'm the prince. Papa will have to pay it. Jimmy began burrowing like a barn mouse under the moldy straw. Not a bit, he won't. Papa will foam at the mouth. Jemmy was disappearing limb by limb under the straw. Think again. It'll be clear as water. The note's a scrambly, witted fake. Papa'll keep me under lock and key after this. It won't fool a soul, that note. How could you have written it? Everyone in the castle knows you can't so much as sign your name. I never needed to before. It's me that's in the soup. I'll catch it for your mischief in running away. I'll catch it again when the tutor claps eyes on the handwriting. He'll say, Jemmy, this is Jemmy trying to line his own pockets. Your Paul scragged me with his bare hands, so I'll be obliged if you'd help me nip out o' here. I promise you my protection, announced the prince with sudden generosity. Jimmy protects himself, said the whipping boy. When that plaguey Cutwater comes to tie us up, tell him I slipped out the door. Soon as he bounces off after me, I'll make a break for it. You'd leave me alone with the cutthroats? Before Jimmy could answer, he heard the sharp squeak of the door. He held his breath. Lads, you won't mind if I truss you up like a Christmas goose. There came a sudden pause, and Jimmy's heart began to thump. Where's the prince? Cutwater snapped. Jimmy heard Prince Brat answer without the slightest hesitation. Over there under the straw. Chapter 13. The Chase. A thoroughbred of streets, Jemmy acted on instinct. He didn't wait to be nabbed. In a burst of straw, he shot up and made a leap for the door. Cutwater, startled, lost the merest breath of time, but it was enough. Jimmy flung open the door and ran. His long arms outstretched, Cutwater lurched after him, and Prince Brat followed. Jimmy vanished into the wild green tangle. He jumped a great fallen log, ducked under low-hanging branches, and like a rabbit, made sudden changes in direction. He could hear Cutwater close behind, breathing like a bellows. I'm on your tracks. Stop before I get agravexed with you, Prince. Jemmy covered the ground at full tilt. Leaves crackled under his feet. Gaw, he thought, he might as well be leading a confounded parade for all the noise he was making. He reached a small clearing and half jumped out of his skin. Sniffing near the skeleton white roots of an upturned hollow tree stood a wild beast. A bear. Jimmy would have preferred Cutwater's own company, but before he could find his legs, the hairy beast took flight. It went crashing away to Jemmy's left. Jemmy got his breath back. Then, almost without thinking, he dove into the hollow of the dead tree and snugged himself in. Moments later, he caught the merest glimpse of Cutwater cupping an ear. Turning on his heels, the rattlebone man gave a shout. Practically got you by the hind leg, pesky prince. Jimmy let out a small sigh of relief. Cutwater would have a mighty surprise if he caught that bear by the hind leg. As the sounds of the chase grew fainter, Jemmy crawled out of the hollow root. The sun was now high enough to send down smoky rays of light through the treetops. Which way was the river? And then he saw Prince Brat, his face lobster red from running, at the edge of the clearing. "Unfaithful servant," he protested, glaring hard at Jemmy. Until this moment, Jimmy hadn't had a moment's pause for anger, but now fury shot into his eyes. "Curse this bladder-tongued, hateful prince! You betrayed me! You'd have deserted me without a care!" Jimmy bristled. "Ain't it me they think is the prince? If you hadn't pointed me out under the straw, Cutwater would have flown off to pick up my tracks, and we could have crept away dead easy. I wouldn't be running my lungs out." The prince pondered this for a moment. He nodded. "Then I forgive you." Jimmy was speechless for a moment. "Forgive me? Don't trouble yourself, my good and loyal prince, and get yourself another whipping boy." "But I have not dismissed you from my service," said the prince calmly. "I dismiss myself," Jimmy fired back. "I'll get where I'm going, and you can find your own way back to the castle. I'll go with you." "Not likely." Jimmy turned to the right and beat his way back into the foliage.